everyone. I've watched some of JoCat's older videos where he's talking about D&D and other Monster Hunter stuff. It was very fun from what I remember watching it. So we'll head into this and see where it goes. Yes. Anyway, if you like what we're doing here, you know what to do. Comment down below. But yeah, if you want us to watch more JoCat, well, tell us. Comment it. Tell us why. Anyway, we're into this, and let's go. It's meant for broad strokes, 9, 10. That's fine.
You'd think a video game titled Monster Hunter would be fairly straightforward, but most who play it long enough to get their shiny tookus whipped by an overgrown lizard realize that hunting monsters is not really that simple. With how deep and even obtuse this
I
game
need to
can
get
be,
Monster
some new
Wilds.
players may
All of my I should put this. All of my close by friends, all my hometown friends have it, and we're gonna play it together eventually. I might be able to stream it, and if we do, I will try to stream it.
Yeah.
We back. Yes, we are. We are definitely back.
systems and menus and stupid multiplayer functionality
But are
to be
we
a bit
the
daunting.
broken?
So, lucky for you, as the official Sword and Shield captain, I also happen
sword-
to be one
oh,
of
he's
the
using
greatest
Sword and
monster
Shield
hunters
again.
of all time, according to me. So pack some potions, burn some steak, and prepare to single-handedly waste your whole team's card
Ooh-woo.
supply. We're going hunting in the Forbidden Lands. Welcome to a silly little guide to Monster Hunter Wilds.
Yeah.
Plus,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Today...
I always love that little jingle when you're cooking the food. I don't think they have it in this newest one, but damn. Anyway, yes, you are adorably cute, am I? You're a very pretty birdie. Anyway, on to this. I feel like I would stole most of it from... okay.
We will begin your monster hunting journey, a road paved with the act of slaying monsters so that you can turn them into pants to help you slay more powerful monsters in order
And
to turn them into more powerful pants. And that
Pretty
is
much.
literally all the game comes down to. Hunting
Like, that is the
monsters.
basics
Now,
of the
although
basics.
everyone calls you a hunter, you're actually playing Batman. And that's because the first most important lesson of Monster Hunter, you become more dangerous with prep time.
Yep. One of the most important things, if you know anything about your monsters, it's always helpful to have an understanding of what they're weak against, what is good, what kind of elements they will throw at you so you can prepare. Yes, Daisy, you are cute.
Once the beautifully rendered but ultimately linear opening cutscene is finished, you will be making one of the most important decisions in the entire game, choosing your weapon, of which I will have a guide for each one in finer detail.
I will be going with the switch axe and maybe the longsword along with it. My friend wants the charge blade, while my friend Dead will be doing the
That's their
hammer.
quirks and kinks and turnoffs and negotiables. But for brevity, here's how I'll categorize them for now in this very...
Okay, let me see this.
I had a nice potato soup for breakfast. Or I guess it was brunch. I put in some sausage and eggs into it and it was delicious.
Nice.
very arbitrary rating system that I made
don't
up.
tell
Much
my
as some of these
friend who
descriptions
is
may be
potato.
intimidating or downright disgusting to some of you, that's okay. Wouldn't be the
Well,
Yes, I cooked up rather
first
than
time I've had people cry and throw up at something hideous I made.
oh, poor JoCat. Honestly, people get overly angry at him for that one video about girls. He made a little song about how he just likes girls. And
that was enough to cause a rampage.
apparently over on Twitter, I don't really understand it. I'll be honest, it was the thing is, the video had been like years long. I don't understand why people were going so angry about it. JoCat himself seems like a very nice guy. I was like, can I get a chocolate chip cruise?
So he made it years ago and it took him years to finally pick up an anger tantrum over it.
Yeah, yes, for people
I
on
don't
Twitter.
understand that kind of thing.
I don't either. Anyway.
It's like, it happened years ago. You're picking a fight over something that happened so long ago, but where it's technically irrelevant to today's thing. Unless he actively is being an active D-bag, I don't see the point.
Which he's not. Anyway. Yes, Imai, you can have a chocolate chip cookie from me. There you go, Imai. You're a very pretty birdie. You're a very good birdie. Alright? Anyway. More onto this.
Nothing matters, and we're all gonna die one day.
Yes, I don't need nihilism today. I hear it way too much in my own head.
Game characters. Each one has its own moveset and combos and strengths and weaknesses that will require some time to get to know. I do recommend trying every single one of these weapons, which you can do immediately at the nearby target barrel, or in the training area located in the camp later on. And even should you pick one that only has a brief honeymoon
Remember,
phase,
dear,
you can always swap it out from your
denial
tent
is
at
a river
any
that
time.
runs
My
in...
advice, the best weapon in the game
That's not how
It's
that works.
whichever one you have the most fun using. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter
whichever
what it's
weapon you like using is probably the best. Anyway, what were you gonna say? You guys there?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, I couldn't hear it for a second. Anyway.
Where lists are made, what kill times are recorded, what the most recent flashy
Yes,
video you saw of someone absolutely nailing a super ass-kicking eardrum destroyer that you're probably never going to recreate. You should pick and learn the weapon that speaks to you the most. A monster hunter that loves the weapon they're using is a
going
good
to have
monster
fun.
hunter.
Yep. Oh god, he's going for him.
Consider is your armor, and although you don't have many options,
oh lord, he
these
coming.
2 sets of armor are going to be more important than pizza rolls and Halo 3 at a sleepover, and that is because although defense is good and useful, equally as if not more useful are the passive skills that come with each piece of armor that you wear. In this case, the leather set has botanist, which yields you more items gathered from herbs, nuts, bugs, and mushrooms, and the chainmail set has geologist, which yields you more items gathered from bones, mining spots, and special trade items.
Interesting.
Part of the preparation includes
I don't remember this in
picking the land dry like
Rise
the
or
world's
in
dedicated
World.
Roomba. Some of the interactables outside are used up immediately, like Vigor Wasps and Wiggly Lichies, but everything else is important crafting materials for consumables or certain armors and weapons. Herbs, mining outcrops, random bugs on the side of the road, little critters doing what they do on the Discovery Channel, and feces. That is not a joke. Anything and
dung can
is
be
useful in
make
some
dung
way.
shots.
It's always good to keep your storage box stocked up. So between every few hunts, it'd be a good idea to go out and
Daisy?
gather. One day, you will run out of knoll berries, and you will only have yourself to blame.
Yeah, I don't gather up on knoll berries, but anyway. You're a good girl, Daisy.
Yeah.
No, that's supposed to be me. It's supposed to be me.
Okay, it was supposed to be I'm sorry, I do this thing over. For those that don't know my YouTube channel, I do this every once in a while. You're a good girl and such a pretty birdie. There.
These 2 armor sets and these sets of skills are some of the best to have and use for the early game. And the late game, you will always,
what did you say? Daisy, what did you say?
I didn't say anything.
Have a need to gather. Absolutely swap out to something more catered to
Don't-
combat when you're hunting a
don't-
monster, but
what
it's
do you
always
mean,
handy to
sir?
keep a
Don't look
load
at
out
me.
of one
You
or both
stand
of them
my
at
fist.
the ready for when you want to go pick flowers. After each
Okay,
gathering
yeah, it's
session,
good
be
to have
sure
those.
to chuck all of that stuff
This
into
is
your
stuff I
box
should
so
be
that you
aware
can
of.
free up your inventory.
I'm
Be
gonna
it
send this to my
gathering or
friends.
useful items for the hunt. I highly recommend making an item loadout so you can quickly swap out your hoard of trash with items you'll know you'll always need.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Try to build something specifically catered to the monster you're hunting, like fire resistance against a Rathalos, or the fact that the only time most men get flowers is at their funeral against Lala Barina. Keep this in mind, as it's going to be a very important aspect for the entire rest of the game. Wearing armor that has skills and defenses specifically for a certain type of monster will make the difference between impressing Gemma and depressing Gemma, and trust me, after seeing how some of you play, the worst she can say is not just no. Now look at you, all inventory full of supplies and armor prepped and ready for whatever life can throw at you besides a devastating financial crisis. Hopefully the next monster on the
I don't
list
need a
isn't
reminder of
something
that.
like the salary cutter or something. God fuck!
The
one thing I forgot, eating. It's important to always make sure that you eat before you head out. This will give you bonus health and stamina, and also some temporary buffs that'll be of great help during your hunt, due to being a satisfied, well-maintained, healthy human being, as opposed to a depressed pile of flesh and bones who's on their 5th Red Bull and 3rd hour attempting to write a single email. This can be anything from bonus damage to elemental resistances to even saving you from what would be a fatal attack from the monster. Make sure to bring the ingredients best suited to the target you plan to hunt, or most likely, in your case, whatever ingredients you happen to have sitting around, like some Pop-Tarts or something.
Pretty much.
Even if it's just rations, always eat before a hunt.
Yep.
Now that you're on the hunt,
you always
ready
need
for
a
your
health and
inevitable
stamina
triple carding,
increase.
Here are the important things to keep in mind while out in the wilds. The Monster Hunter Watch! Unlike your office workspace boss, the Hunters Guild is sure to supply you with a few helpful items right off the bat with default.
Ain't that the truth? My boss barely supplies us with what we need. Good lord. Anyway, back into this and the wonderful stuff we're going around. We'll see how it goes, but yeah.
Alt controls, pressing left on the D-pad will allow you to find these items in your sacred pouch. These are free to take and use,
you
or
also
to
have
just
these.
throw into your hoard back at camp. Note the items with the official guild crest. These are supply items and are
I don't
temporary.
think any boss
Only
has
last for
ever
that hunt,
supplied
so it's good to
anyone
use
with
these
anything
before
that
you
they
start eating into your own
actually
personally gathered supplies.
Yeah, but
Instead
those
of
are
just going
temporary
up-
items, so I use them constantly whenever I'm playing a game. Or
and
hunting
then
a monster.
mindlessly slapping the monster like it used your good razor to shave its nether regions. Try to take your time and learn the monster's moveset. Just like you, every monster has a limited move pool with animated tags and signs for when it's going to do a certain attack.
I've
For
never
instance,
actually seen
when
that
this
monster
Rathalos
before,
rears its
that
head
big
back, I know
swamp
it's about
thing.
to shoot a fireball. Or when this Tashagama stands on its hind legs, I know that it's only got a 2-pair and is absolutely bluffing. Each monster also has a set of weaknesses and resistances
Breakable.
to the various elements and ailments that your weapons and items can inflict. All of this and more can be learned by checking out your large monster field guide. Do not neglect this little book. It's got so much information that it's basically a wiki in your back pocket. It even has information about
Monster parts!
monster parts can be broken, and not only will they drop delicious extra materials and increase the chances of rarer materials to be rewarded at the end of the quest, they'll also sometimes disable the monster's abilities in some way. Breaking Gypsaros's horn stops it from flashing. Cutting Quemetris's tail prevents it from making fire at all. In a similar vein, some parts of the monster are harder than others, and hitting them will deal less damage. And in some cases, depending on your weapon's current sharpness, risk your attacks bouncing off entirely.
Yeah, that's why you always
interrupting
need to
your combo
sharpen,
like a
even in combat.
This video is brought to you by you.
Patreon!
Thank you.
I
If you're
understand doing
struggling
that.
with a monster, this is where your lovingly gathered supply of items comes in. You can absolutely apply the death by 1,000 cuts method of dispatching each of your targets, but just think about
it's
it.
a lot
How much
slower.
more annoying would it be if the monster had the ability to unplug your controller for about 10 seconds? Traps will keep them still, flash pods will confuse them and even knock flying monsters out of the sky. Barrel bombs are a consistent means of raw damage and a great wake-up prank to post on YouTube.
I remember defeating a monster by just getting a bunch of bomb barrels, setting them all around them, and, well, setting them off, and then I win. It's immediately downed. I win. Also, we do have another suit art coming out. But yeah, I remember just doing that. It was fun.
And all of those special curatives will be needed for the various horrible status effects that will be inevitably inflicted on you during your time in the Forbidden Lands. Antidotes for poisons, cleansers for when you're rooted in place, energy drinks for when you get real eepy. Oh, who needs a little blankie with cookies and milk?
Need all kinds
Keep
of
in
those
mind,
stuff.
you can only bring along a limited number of certain items. But if you do want more, you can also bring in the individual crafting ingredients for a certain item so
you
that
can
you
just
can
make
just
them.
make more for yourself mid-hunt. When I said everything is useful, I really do mean everything.
Monster
Most
set.
of the time, the monsters will be neutral, using their basic attacks and relying on old, tired pickup lines. But just like you, the monster can run out of stamina, be it naturally over time from just fighting without a break, or after taking a significant amount of blunt force trauma. Once they are exhausted, as indicated by
They'll
the
usually
hungry monster
run.
icon pulsing on the minimap, they'll exhibit the typical characteristics of someone in their 30s. Their movements will slow, they'll stand in place doing
my
nothing
God.
for longer, drool will leak out of their mouth, and they'll have the strange urge to go back and play We Love Katamari again. The monster will also stay longer in trap, so it's best to save them for when the monster is exhausted to maximize their effectiveness. On the opposite end, occasionally the monster
didn't
will
actually
get
know that for
extremely
traps.
pissed off and enter an enraged state, indicated by the bright red eye on the minimap, and begin to exhibit the typical characteristics of society whenever it sees someone in their 30s having fun. It'll scream a lot, sometimes change color, pull new attacks out of nowhere, making you wonder where the heck they got the idea from, and generally be a lot more aggressive. The most obvious indicator a monster is enraged is there's usually puffs of smoke coming from their face, showing the sheer unbridled seething the monster is going through after
seen
you
that
told
happen
it that the
before
Happy
multiple
Meal doesn't
times.
come with a toy anymore. They still do, but think about how mad that sentence made you just now. And as you can guess, certain tools and traps are far less effective when a monster is
Didn't make
pissed.
me
Basic
mad, but
rule of
that's
thumb
funny.
is that you can and should still go up against a monster when it's enraged, but extra caution is advised, like bringing up your favorite anime on a first date. Killing a monster is not the only way to complete the hunt. Unless it's an Elder Dragon, which is immune to traps, you can capture a monster in order to end a hunt early by putting it in a trap and throwing 2 trank bombs while it's locked down. You'll know a monster's
seen
ready to
people do that.
capture when it's near death, noted by when it starts to limp, and its icon on the minimap will have a pulsing skull. There's a couple of reasons to do this. Firstly, captured monsters have different drop rates on certain materials. So if there's something that's been eluding you worse than the motivation to do your laundry, trying to capture instead of kill might be a good way to increase your odds of finding it. Secondly, it's a good
that's
option
not
in
a
case
bad
the hunt
idea.
feels like Thanksgiving with the family and you just want to get it over with quicker so you don't have to listen to Uncle Jerry's thoughts on minorities for another hour. And third, it's the only option if Doyogama ever makes a return. And if he does, and I see so much as one slaying, I will personally curse you so that all your stickers will forever have an annoying little fold or air pocket too small to push out the side. And that should cover all the major parts of a
He
monster.
really loves that
Always
one,
remember
huh?
to carve after a kill and throw all your non-essential items
Always
back
carve.
into storage before you start another quest. The last
'Cause
thing
you
you
only
want to
get
do is to look for your
60
potions
seconds.
mid-hunt and suddenly have to swim through a squirrel's life savings. Take your spoils to the
Squirrel's
smithy
life
to make yourself
savings.
stronger. Check your field guide for information about a monster's capabilities, resistances, weaknesses, and sexual
His
orientation,
life
just in case you never know. And most importantly, never stop hunting. Crafting more powerful armor and weapons will only get you so far. The biggest factor in your success is going to be your own skill and knowledge as a hunter. The more you keep at it, the more you, the player, will level up and become stronger. And now you know the basics of Monster Hunter Wilds. Have fun.
I like that little cat jingle, as you can probably tell. Anyway, I want to say all of you people, thank you so much for coming by. If you actually do like our reactions, please do consider subscribing, checking out all of our nice stuff, and I'll see you all later. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Remember, don't eat yellow snow.
Okay, yeah, that's a normal thing, but okay. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you later. Bye.